My friends left a night before I did in the Colorado Rockies outside of Crested Butte, and I hiked in the next day and spent the night by a fire where a bobcat screamed around me, so I took some shots of Southern Comfort and passed out. Then I hiked to the hot springs to meet my friends the next day, and we partied and spent the night and sat in the springs. And then that morning we woke up to 4 to 5 feet of snow, and we could not get back to Crested Butte. So two of us hiked to Aspen, and I tried to find the pass, and there was snow up to my armpits, and it was impossible to get home. So the other two of us hiked to Aspen and hitchhiked to town. And the first night we stayed in the jailhouse lobby. They gave us pillows and blankets. The next night we stayed at the Catholic Church actually for 2 nights, and then the roads were open and my friend came and picked us up. It was quite the experience. The name of the hot spring is Conundrum, and now I know why. But that was a weekend in my life within Colorado. Thank you. I started my trip in Santa Cruz and caught a ride to San Jose Airport where I saw off a friend, and then I walked through San Jose up into the hills where I was picked up by someone who worked at a telescope that looked at outer space, and it was a family and they had an office, so she gave me some maps of California and some dried fruit, and then I headed out and caught a ride with a man who told me about rattlesnakes after I had nearly stepped on one, and the vultures and the wild boars. And he dropped me off and I walked, and then I got picked up by a sports car where we drove really fast for a while, and then I got picked up by a semi with a man who did not speak English. And then I made a sign and was picked up by a businessman who creeped me out a little bit, and I had my knife in my pocket but didn't have to use it. And then I was picked up by a hippie and slept in the back of her truck, which brought me into walking distance to Yosemite, where I spent the night in the beautiful valley. And then I hitchhiked out the next day with a German biker gang who happened to have a Olympian basketball player with them. And then I walked through Merced and spent the night out in an apple orchard, where I then walked into town and got a bus ticket. And I got sick from not having enough food and water, and I was taking a nap waiting for the bus, and a Native American asked me if I wanted any marijuana, and I said I was okay. And then I got on the bus and I made it to a town in northern Sacramento, and where I passed out in the bus station and came to with the guards going through my belongings, and the man in front of me bought me McDonald's. And then I got on the bus and spent the summer in Montana, mostly sunbathing and hiking. Thank you. Last summer I spent a month in Europe, and when flying back from Latvia to JFK over the Atlantic, I was flagged at immigration and was pulled aside and was held for a while, and then I flew to Toronto, Canada, where I parked my car because the ticket was cheaper out of Canada. And I was flagged at that immigration and held for a few hours, and they went through all my records and everything, and they finally released me, telling me I was not allowed back in Canada for 2 years, which doesn't bother me at all. And then I got in my car and we had to jump start it because the battery died, and we got lost, and we finally made it to the border of Toronto, Buffalo, where my passport was flagged yet again, and I was held there for a while and interrogated and finally let go because of minimal whatever. And then on the New York side, I was practically held at gunpoint when my passport had another red flag, and we got through that and we made it back to our destination after 8 to 10 hours of immigration and my friends just waiting and them searching all my belongings and asking me questions and just really curious to why it was what it was. And I finally made it back home after 36 hours of travel, and it was quite the scene, and I don't really care if I go back to Canada anyways. So my best day skateboarding was in the late 90s, where I had gone to a house party and consumed something, and I came to the next day after no sleep and went and got a haircut. Then I went to the skate park Derby out behind the Santa Cruz Elementary School, where I had the bowls and the snake run to myself, and I was going down the hill, coming out onto the deck, dropping into the big bowl and launching out, getting chest high